Tony D and Little Joan with a Screenwriter's Rant by request, the Little Mermaid live action trailer, where they just take the cartoon and make a live action version of it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Okay, so there's no point in me going over the story because it's the same story. It's a musical about a mermaid who ends up falling in love with a man on land and goes up there and the whole thing. There's a bunch of songs, and then there's an evil. She's like a princess, and then there's an evil witch. It's Snow White in the water, basically, kind of. It's a classic Disney cartoon. And you can see by the reaction of this particular version of the trailer, you've got 211,000 downvotes and only 47,000 upvotes. Why? Is it because she's black? No. It's because this entire movie is unnecessary. That she's black is just annoying because the character's just not black. But what you could have done is done an original movie with the millions and millions of dollars you sunk into this. Now, I don't know who's going to see this or why they would bother, because The Little Mermaid is a classic. And again, just because you happen to be the same race as somebody in a movie doesn't mean, oh, well, that movie speaks to me. Personally, I didn't see The Little Mermaid. I've seen enough of it to kind of know what it's about. It's not for me. I was old enough and didn't watch a little kids movie, but it's very classic. It's very beloved. There was absolutely no reason for Disney to do this other than a cynical money grab, as far as I could see. And changing the race of the lead actress just seemed gratuitous at this point. So, it's, again, just because you put a black actress into a role doesn't mean black people are immediately, oh, now I have to see it. There's black people in it. That's, just because you put Italian people in a movie doesn't mean I'll go see it. It is a weird thing in the culture war that almost every redheaded character, redhead, I'll say, female redhead, has been replaced in movies and, in iconic sort of roles. Batgirl was one of them. She has red hair. I'm not exactly sure what Hollywood has against redheads all of a sudden. They were once obsessed with them. There's just no reason for this movie. When you have a classic, there's no reason to remake it. This is as pointless as the shot-by-shot remake of Psycho was. That was pointless. Psycho is a classic. Does anybody remember the shot-for-shot remake of Psycho? Is that a favorite movie of anybody? Raise your hand. You weirdo. No, it's not better than the original. It's also in black and white, so it made it doubly pointless. At least, I don't know, if you did a shot-for-shot remake and it was in color, at least it'd be adding something, but maybe, you could argue. What is this adding? What is this adding to The Little Mermaid? They already had an animated version that was perfect, where you could, by the way, this is extremely dark, this trailer. Not in terms of its tone, in terms of its lighting. I can barely see half the things in this thing. And there's a lot of CGI, so what difference is it between this and the cartoon? When you get right down to it, if you got all this CGI, you just have other performers singing it. It doesn't matter. You would have been better off taking the millions and millions of dollars you sunk into this and just doing an original movie about a black mermaid. Completely new songs, completely new story. It would be similar because it probably would be the same damn story about a mermaid who wants to live on land, but instead of setting it in sailing times. I forget what it's. Yeah, it's set in the past. You could set it in the modern day. You could set it in another time period that makes sense for the character. You know, I wouldn't make it political. It would still be a kids movie. That would be my choice. But Disney, I'm sure, would be all about it. But sure, go ahead. At least it would be different. At least it would be original. Uh, you can call it, something else with The Little Mermaid as like a subtitle or something. But this just seems like so cynical. I mean, and you might say, "Oh, you're just against it because she's black." No, I'm also against the live action remake of The Jungle Book. Also pointless. Lion King, pointless. I think they didn't they do the Aladdin one? Pointless. Beauty and the Beast, pretty pointless. Although that was probably the best looking one, I guess. And you could argue, well, at least you got Emma Watson, a pretty big star at the time. But this, I mean, how many times are we going to do this? Are you going to remake Fantasia live action? I mean, look at the Pinocchio movie with Tom Hanks. That's getting creamed. It's getting creamed online. I get it. Kids, they got a low bar for entertainment, so you could put this on instead of The Little Mermaid, but you already made The Little Mermaid, Disney. Just reissue the damn thing with a better soundtrack or something. Put some extra songs on it. Add another cartoon. Add another thing. Do a sequel. Little Mermaid Part 2, 3. I think they did do some sequels. Do another one with the same character. You could have done it as an animated thing and had this woman do the singing and the voice. She obviously is a talented singer. Have her write all the songs, all new songs, all new Mermaid movie. People would have loved it. This just, it seems unnecessarily divisive. Right? You swap people out, you make the character look different. What are you doing? And then they gave her red hair, but she does look different. You don't want to make her look the same. I mean, I'm sure you could shoot it in such a way to wash out the color a little bit so she'd look more like Ariel, but you wouldn't want to do that either. So, I mean, who is this movie for? Right? Who is this movie for? I keep asking that, and I never get an answer. Who is it for? Is it for people who are so in love with The Little Mermaid they'll see anything with The Little Mermaid? Okay, let's say it's that audience. How many people could that be? Imagine you've shown your kid, you grew up with The Little Mermaid, and you showed your kid the DVD, and they love it, and then it's like, well, I want to go see The Little Mermaid. And then you go see it, and, oh, she looked different, or it's not as good. Because, look, live action's not going to be as perfect as a cartoon. Everything in a cartoon, every frame is designed in a cartoon. It's almost impossible for humans to match up at a certain level. Everything will be crisp and clear in the cartoon. In this, the trailer's dark. It's like kick it up 2 f-stops. I can't see half the sets that you spent God knows how much money on. So, what is this? Who's this for? Disney fanatics who will watch anything? I'm pretty sure that entire audience I just described would be happy with a new, let's say, Black Mermaid movie or a sequel to The Little Mermaid. You could call it Little Mermaid, Cousin Haley. And it'd all be about her, and then she's her cousin. That would be cute. They could be distantly related, and they're cousins, and she goes through a completely different thing on a different island, let's say, or a different civilization. Like, maybe she falls in love with a pirate or whatever. I don't know who the love interest was in the first movie. Was he a pirate? I don't think he was. Something like that. Like what? You're gonna make the same movie, only live action. We'll make the same movie, only more expensive. Okay. we're going to make the same movie, only more expensive, huh? Are we going to change anything? No, it's going to be exactly the same. But we're going to have to re-record all the music? Yeah! So we're going to have to measure up to the perfect movie that's already out there. Oh, yeah, you're going to have to really measure up. It's going to have to be better. Like, why are you setting yourselves up for failure? You know? It's like, the only way I could see this movie working is if you took the hottest singer in the world and put her in as Ariel. Like, maybe you could have gotten away with this. I don't know. Who's the hottest singer right now? I guess you could argue Taylor Swift, right? Maybe. Lady Gaga. I don't know. She's too old for this. Kate Perry. She's kind of old for this. Let's say it's Taylor Swift. I mean, then maybe you could argue, well, you're going to get the Taylor Swift renditions of all this movie. I mean, you're getting her rendition, but it sounds kind of the same as the movie. To me, it doesn't. To someone who's not a fan of this, it sounds the same to me. So what's the point? I mean, you could have maybe gotten a singer that's wildly different to be the lead, like Billie Eilish, I guess, and then have her do the songs completely different. Maybe you could have made that work. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. She's never been in a movie before, to my knowledge, so maybe she's a terrible actress. I just don't see a reason for this movie other than this idea that, well, you know, you can only relate to the people of your race. That's just not true. Little girls could relate to this. It's a universal movie. Just like there's a Disney princess from New Orleans, I forget her name, and it's the same sort of Disney princess movie you've seen in other movies, except she's the black Disney princess. There's a black one, there's a Japanese one, there's this one, there's that one. There's one for every ethnic group now, right? Smart. I get it. They're all different stories and different cultures. They're great. I mean, great-ish. I don't know. I don't really watch them. I understand why Disney did that. So, I mean, I know, Joe. So the capture, the white audience. Are you going to make Black Panther white? No, that would be ridiculous. It would be stupid. Black Panther's black. So, isn't it just as stupid to make white characters black all of a sudden for no reason? When you're perfectly capable of creating new characters. Perfectly capable. I could have written a new movie about this, sure. I just pitched you 3 of them. You could have tied it in. You could still have Ariel and her red hair, and you could have a new character. Why compete with your old movie? That's another thing. You're competing with your old movies. You make the live action version. Oh, which one do I buy? The live action or the cartoon? Why compete? If you made them all different, they buy both of them. And yes, some people will buy both because they're Disney fanatics. But how many people are there? How many people are really going to do that? Right? The only thing you've set yourself up to do, in my view, is annoy people, divide them, and not meet their expectations. And just looking at this, it looks so friggin' dark. You've already not matched up to my expectations, and my expectation is it would be crisp like the cartoon. And it looks kind of just too dark. I can't see the damn thing. In the cartoon, which I've seen clips of, everything's crystal clear. Under the sea. And how are you going to have the singing lobsters and all those guys? They're going to be CGI guys, right? Basically a cartoon, but it's not the same when you have an animated lobster versus a lobster that looks like a lobster that's now singing. You're not going to see his mouth and his big eyes. He's going to have a lobster face. Under the Sea is one of the songs, right? Am I confusing that with another one? I don't remember. So yeah, I'm not. I just don't see the reason to do this. Other than, I mean, you're telling me Disney, the biggest media company on the planet, is so devoid of ideas they won't greenlight anything else other than something they've done? They did, what was it, 20 years ago? It doesn't make any sense. You didn't have to remake Fantasia live action. It's a classic. People watch it all the time. It gets re-released in theaters all the time. It won Oscars. You know? You're telling me, is anybody rewatching The Jungle Book? Is anybody rewatching the remake of Psycho? No. So what is this for? Oh, we'll make a bunch of money and then it'll be over. You could have made it a completely original movie that's totally forgettable. And probably made just as much money. I mean, Disney is the PR machine. They can pretty much sell anything. I mean, they put Star Wars characters on bananas. I think they can push an original movie. Especially if it had any tie-in with the Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid's daughter. Another Little Mermaid. There's another title for you. Another Little Mermaid. Right? She went back to the sea. You can have a whole history of older Ariel, why she went back to the sea, or why she had a daughter, and why she ended up lost in the ocean. And, could have done a whole mess of things. Instead, you're just remaking a live-action movie and doing everything you can to annoy the hardcore fanatics who should be championing you at every turn. This isn't just this movie, this is Hollywood today. Rings of Power. Another example. This is a TV show that if it was even just bearable, people would have championed it. People would have said, oh, it's so, I know it's not that good, but you gotta watch it. It's gonna get better. I mean, there's still some people saying that, but really, you created this divisive world in which fans now, if they don't like your product, they're jerks. And why did you give them that ammo? Why? It's like Hollywood has given up. Well, we know everybody's going to hate everything, so we're just going to call these jerks idiots. You can't do that to your audience. What you do is ignore the people who criticize you. I just told a writer today, he said, how do you deal with negativity? And the answer is there's negativity and there's feedback. Negativity is unconstructive, right? It's just people being negative. It says more about them than it really does about your project. They tell you nothing. They say, oh, you're terrible. Everything you do sucks, whatever. It's YouTube stuff. You ignore it. You can't convince these people. And it's really, they put so much emotion in it. It's really about their own inadequacies than it is about you and what you do. Then you have people who give you actual feedback. They say things like, well, I kind of liked what you did here, but I thought you went off your message here, or something like that. And then you could tell like they've actually sort of drilled down into what you did and they've paid attention to it and they have some, criticism that's worth listening to. Maybe it's constructive, maybe it's not. And you can hear it. You don't want to obey it, but you want to hear it, take it in, say, maybe this is better, or maybe it's full of it. What is Disney doing? I don't think they're listening to anybody, much less their own creatives. So, like, if Disney came to you and said, well, you have a choice. You can do an original movie, or you can do a remake of any of these 10 movies. Which do you want to do? What would you pick? Most creatives would say, oh, wow, I'll do my original movie. Because they want to do something original. They won't say, well, let me remake a classic. Let me remake Gone with the Wind so everybody hates me. They're going to do something original. There's always something original. If you've taken an improv class, and I've taken many, improv teaches you to create ideas and throw them away. So it's unbearable to me that they keep making these reruns. That's all they are to me. They're high-end reruns. Even if I was a huge fan of The Little Mermaid, I wouldn't see this movie simply because I've already seen it. I have the original. Why would I see this? It could only disappoint me. You're telling me a movie that's considered a classic from Disney. Oh, but the live action's going to be better somehow? I kind of doubt it. Now, if you take a movie that maybe didn't do so well from Disney, or did okay, but could have been better, like The Black Hole, which was a Disney production, and you remade that, well, you'd have somewhere to go, right? Of course, from a corporate standpoint, they would think you're insane. You're going to remake The Black Hole? Why the hell would you do that? And you'd be like, well, so we can make it good this time. Yeah, but everybody hated that movie. Yeah, but the new version will be good. Yeah, they don't want to take that chance. See, corporate guys want to make a can of peas. And they made a great can of peas with the original Little Mermaid. Now they're coming out with new and improved Little Mermaid with extra salt. But it's not going to work. I mean, they'll make money. But it's the laws of diminishing return. They've done this a bunch of times. One could argue, well, Beauty and the Beast was so huge and Emma Watson was a big name. Maybe you could get away with that one. But part of the problem is, too, since that one was successful, oh, let's greenlight the Jungle Book. Let's greenlight Aladdin. I mean, Aladdin got blasted for having Will Smith be the genie. Eesh. Not a good choice in my view. Not a good choice. This, I don't even know who this girl is. I think she's a singer. She sounds pretty talented. I think she could have sang original songs. I assume she's probably a songwriter and has like 2 or 3 albums to get this role. You telling me you couldn't just do an original soundtrack and a whole original story and give her carte blanche to write a whole new album of stuff that you could have sold, and then you could have sold it alongside a Little Mermaid, even if the movie wasn't a hit, right? Even if the movie's not a hit, you package it with, oh, we got the original, The Little Mermaid, and you can see all the little sequels here. The little sequels on the side here. Here's The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning. You package them all up. Oh, and then you throw in the new Little Mermaid, or Little Mermaid Part 2, or Return to the Sea. I don't know, something. Little Mermaid's cousin Little Mermaid, whatever you want to call it. You tell me that's a bad idea? At the end of the day, you only need to get the words Little Mermaid somewhere in the title or the subtitle. And you're using the trademark. You're getting all the people who saw it before. The only thing you're doing here is having people go, well, I don't have any kids, and I've already seen this movie, so no. Or I do have kids. Do I drag my kids out and pay $80 to see a movie I have on DVD? And go through the pure hell of taking my kids to a movie theater? Because it's pretty little kids who like The Little Mermaid. Or do I pop on the DVD and say, hey kids, you want to see The Little Mermaid? Want to see Little Mermaid Part 2, Return to Sea? Want to see The Little Mermaid, Ariel's Beginning? I think they had a TV show, too. You're telling me you didn't want to add to that great run. No, you're going to start over. Okay. What tells you it's going to be as big a hit as the first Little Mermaid? What? Was Beauty and the Beast live action as big a hit as Beauty and the Beast cartoon? No. I can tell you that without even looking it up. Same thing with the Jungle Book. Definitely, well, with Psycho, one could argue the numbers are different because, when they made Psycho, that was way back when, but it's just not going to make as much money. So, and you're going to release this in, I assume, movie theaters. The movie theaters that are dying? And then I guess you're going to put it on Disney Plus. You can already run all this stuff on Disney Plus. And you're running it here on YouTube for some reason. Are you not making enough money on The Little Mermaid? Even a little kid, right? A little kid. You're a little kid. You want to see The Little Mermaid? Oh, yeah. Pop it in, watch it. Hey, you want to go see The Little Mermaid? I just saw The Little Mermaid. No, this is in the movies. Oh, is it different? No, it's exactly the same, except it's live action. Oh. So it's not a cartoon. No, it's like a person singing it. Oh. Or you could just watch The Little Mermaid again. Yeah, let's do that. I mean, I think even a little kid could make that distinction. Disney. All right. So that's my rant. I'm not even picking on this movie. It's just the very idea that you keep making cartoons. And what are you going to do next? Toy Story? Going to drag out the Toy Story characters and put, I don't know, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen in giant plastic costumes and have them run around in sets that are made for giants? Doesn't seem wise. I don't see any reason why people would see that. Oh, you're going to recast them. Oh, great. That went over great with Lightyear, didn't it? Lightyear's another one. Should have been a signal, right? Oh, Tim Allen's not going to be the voice. F you, Disney, said the fans. I wonder why. It's because you jammed a bunch of identity politics in it, and this is kind of feeling that way. Anywho, that's it for me. Tony D. Little Joan is asleep. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes, if you can imagine that. Check out a News Blast and a Hollywoke hot take. You got to be on the other platforms. You got to be. I will be at the Smithville Art Walk on September 17th, Saturday, unless it rains, and then it'll be Sunday. We'll see you.